much for coming. After lunch, I'm sure that this is a fantastic conference for you. Thank you so much for our panelists that they dedicated the time of the day to come and share their expertise with us. Really excited about it. Let's start with a quick intro. Alex, let's start with you. Tell us a bit more about what you've been doing in the industry.
Sure. So my name is Alex Zeidelson. I'm CEO of Secret Labs. I started my journey in crypto by running Beam, a confidential computing coin. And actually, we were here at the Zcash conference about 5 or 6 years ago, exactly in the same place, representing Beam. Then I did some work in DeFi as well, and now running Secret Labs. So Secret Labs is all about confidential computing based on trusted execution environment technology. It's a blockchain that has been probably the first confidential smart contract mainnet chain since 2020. And we're now venturing also into the confidential and verifiable AI space and confidential and verifiable general on-chain and off-chain computation space. And we'll talk about this. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Peter Busch is my name. The thing with Bosch and Busch is happening all the time. So I work for automotive strategy at Bosch. I'm responsible there for all the new innovative technologies when it comes to car-to-X, car-to-everything mobility or connectivity. And besides that, I'm the chairman as well of the FedGI Foundation, which we can talk about later a little bit. And in that role, definitely, I try to as well implement new product services for trusted AI agents in the car and in the traffic. I'm studied computer science combined with an MBA, so always have to look at both sides, the technology and the economical reasoning behind that, and work already like 20 years for Bosch right now, and before that I worked for JP Morgan and Sun Microsystems in different roles.
Thank you for that.
Hi, my name is Antonio Peric-Majar. I'm actually here from Split, and I have a software development company that is based here very close by, like 4 kilometers from the venue. What we are doing consulting and setting up product development teams, mostly today around AI and Web3 projects. And regarding the Blocksplit is actually a community conference that we are running in Split since 2018. We skipped this year. We skipped this year because we took a short break, but it's like very nice conference. It's not dedicated to any particular chain. It's more about businesses, models, startups on a blockchain and Web3 space. And it's run by like 5-6 enthusiasts here from the region.
Thank you for the introduction, gentlemen. And Sonia, I'd like to start with you because you work with a lot of startups. Since like from the beginning of the year until October, we had 193 billion invested into the AI industry overall, and that comes only from VCs. And I believe that ChatGPT was this revolutionary moment when everyone actually got excited about AI, and we were like, oh my days, it has real-world utility, and the retail users also started looking into AI. So can you tell me, when do you think we'll have this break moment for the Web3 ecosystem? Do you think it will happen over the next few years, or do you think it's already happening?
I think it's already happening, but let's just step back, like when you mentioned ChatGPT, why that happened? It happened because UX of ChatGPT or AI is oversimplified, so everybody can use it. The other problem is that we are living in a part of our life where AI is overhyped. So the majority of use cases that we are currently using today are not really the use cases. So most of the companies investing but losing the money because there is no return of investment. When you are asking me about Web3 or blockchain with AI, I think actually it's not one or another, it's together. Because like if we are talking about agentic or agentic world, like we need some way that agents can actually do transaction and do some way of, okay, they can communicate, but they also need to do some transactions. And blockchain is the only solution where they can actually do it, because you will not give credit card to your agent, but agent can own their own wallet. So it's very easy to integrate that two words.
Thanks for that. And Peter, I want to hear your point from the traditional world, because I know that You guys are a tier 1 supplier. You don't produce autonomous vehicles yourself, but you work very closely with Mercedes-Benz, and then you provide some of the technology for Tesla, Volkswagen, and some of the biggest companies in the world. So and you also kind of come from like the TradFi world. Can you tell me a bit more about how these companies are thinking about AI? Because as an industry, we tend to be very nimble and we can easily pivot. But when you have a big company, it's quite challenging to drive a comparatively big ship. So tell me about the thinking behind everything that you guys are doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So I can just repeat what you just said. Absolutely. So because everybody is shouting out about AI and how cool it is and the solution for everything. And as Sam Altman already said, don't use our agents for everything. Yeah. So because they have too much power, they have control to everything. And when we talk about automotive, especially Bosch, it's all about safety. It's all about the lives of the driver in the car. So we cannot allow to have any power in the car which is not controllable, which does only things which it can, because it can. Yeah? So, and all the hype, and I can just as well repeat that, it's still a hype, but again, you have to see there are huge successes in using AI, workflow, efficiency, coding, and all that stuff, which is really nice. However, when it comes to the products of the traditional industry, nobody earns money right now with AI. Yeah? And especially for us, it's not allowed to have AI, not speaking about AI agents, to use them in products and services yet on the streets. So this is really one very interesting thing. Of course, we all are working with AI and trying to think hard about how to use AI in our real products. But as I can see, in the industry, everybody is using in development processes, in efficiency, in project management, in writing mails, and you know the major application which is done by AI these days? PowerPoint, yeah, making you the slides and all that stuff. Yeah, so this is really ridiculous. And so what we found out is we need to find a new way how to define AI. What it should do in the products and what not. And this is exactly why we go in the way of trusted AI. Exactly, yeah, so that we need to understand what can an AI agent really do, what should he do, and what not. And what is the control, and what is the permissions, and so on. And we combined it currently, and this is a huge, I would say, fortunate thing, we combined it with the EU data sovereignty needs that we still have at the moment, and combining that with the decentralized digital identity approaches, what we see in the EU coming up, combining that with decentralized AI. This definitely helps us to really follow on these questions and challenges, what we see later on the streets with the products with AI.
And are you concerned the companies that are willing to use AI right now might have a competitive advantage over you? Because as you mentioned, like you're currently not looking, I mean, you're looking into it, but you're not allowed to use it. And I know that's the case for quite a lot of big companies. They're not allowed to use ChatGPT because it's not private. But are you concerned the companies that are slightly smaller, but they're willing to take the risk, might have a competitive advantage now, and then you'll have an impact in the next 5 years, and you won't be a leader in the space anymore?
This is a two-sided medal here, definitely. I have great concerns when I look into the US, for example, because they have absolutely zero regulation in terms of AI, usage of AI at the moment, and it can't stay that way. I'm not the biggest fan of regulation, but in Europe, we need this AI Act, and this is exactly helping us. And of course, when it comes to competitive situations, definitely all the other industry competitors and as well all the car manufacturers think the same way as we do. Not really using it too early with too much power on the street and too much control getting them. So what we see is chatbots everywhere, of course, using ChatGPT maybe or other on-premise algorithms and all that, using that. However, everybody is careful, and this time we are really on par, I would say, not in generating these models, but using them. And so, as you all know, and coming from the discussion, it doesn't help you to spend billions and billions of dollars, yeah, to even support more hardware and using even more bigger models, because you do not have really the advantage out of them at the end.
Thank you.
Yeah?
Thank you
And
for
this
that.
is what we then definitely can really do better, I hope, here in Europe.
Thanks. And Alex, can you just talk a bit more about the privacy component of it? Because everyone is super excited about AI agents, but ChatGPT might not be the best one to use if you work for a big corporation because there's no privacy. But also, if you want to have your AI agent to purchase, let's say, tickets on your behalf as a company, unfortunately, if it's on chain, then there's going to be a lot of visibility. There are problems with it. So talk about this convergence between AI and privacy and why it's so important.
Sure. So before AI, people were thinking and were scared about the big companies getting too much data about us. What are we searching for? What are we liking? What products we're buying, and so on. And it was bad enough. So now we have those large corporations like ChatGPT, Anthropic, Gemini, all of them, and they're not just getting our data, they're actually getting our soul. Because people are confiding in AI things that they sometimes don't confide even with their friends and their close circle. So these guys are getting our soul as humans. They're getting all our data as businesses, and that's why a lot of large corporations actually forbid using AI that is not internal, because, and why is that? Because even if OpenAI tells you they're not going to use the data, what kind of proof can they show? And we all understand what it really means, that they are like, they will be using your data, definitely. So we are at Secret Labs, we're working on confidential AI, utilizing trust execution environment technology. We can and we are running LLMs in kind of a black box. So even if this LLM is running on our infrastructure, we don't have any access to the information, to the data. And this is powered by the technology from Intel and NVIDIA, the trust execution environment technology. And in my view, eventually, all the LLMs and definitely all the AI agents must be running in this kind of a protected, private, and verifiable environment. By verifiable, I mean that we can prove to the end user which source code is running inside this machine, that the code is not actually stealing this data. So we can literally show the source code and prove that it is what is running inside this machine. So when you talk to our LLM, you can audit or rely on somebody else's audit of the code that really proves that the data is not leaking anywhere. And the data that we are giving to AI is unbelievably valuable. And that's why it's very important that this data stays private, and that's what we are preaching and working on and pushing. And it goes in any direction, be it financial transactions, be it medical field, automotive, personal, everything. This data is immensely valuable, and we cannot allow it to be used by those huge corporations just because it goes so deep into all our beings.
Thanks for that. And I want to run an experiment. Like, can you please raise your hand if you use ChatGPT as your therapist? Like, prompt, be my therapist, and then use it. No one. No, one shy gentleman there.
All the rest are just embarrassed.
Yeah, all the rest are just liars. That's I've used it myself. Okay, very dishonest crowd here.
Yeah. Now you even have those AI boyfriends and girlfriends.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is
true.
kind of seedy, but you know, people. It's like getting into the most intimate parts of people's lives.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Antonio, I know that you help companies to build apps and develop their websites. So can you just run us through how could they utilize AI in the most efficient way to do it? and not just the development, but also do you advise companies on how to have it on their website, but kind of like have a chatbot that's tapping into their existing data and how they can utilize AI overall?
So the biggest problem when we are working on some project with the clients, everybody assumes that AI is plug-and-play solution. Like it's some magic, you will connect it, and your problems will be solved. But on the other side, it's just a tool. If you have mass on all other levels in your company, AI cannot help you. So basically what you need to find a problem, and you need to find, is AI maybe solution for that? If it is, you can implement it. I mean, the chatbots are just primitive things. Like today we have much more complex systems like agents doing like managing deliveries or returns or customer support whatsoever. And that are some use cases where you can save a lot of money and you can like scale your businesses. We have some other cases that are even more complex, but I cannot now disclose them. But in a way, what I want to say, it's like you need to figure a problem. Once you have a problem, then you can think about the solution. If you don't have a problem, like, what are you solving? Like, and of course, not just a problem, like what's the outcome? Like, do you reduce like, your workforce? Do you increase your profits? Do you make more money? Do you expanding to the new market? So that's like all the regular business questions. And AI is just a tool that we are now using comparing to some other tools that we were using 10 years ago.
Peter, I have a prediction question for you. I know that we have like 5 phases of autonomous vehicles, and everyone is kind of in a discussion debate between whether it's like phase 3 and phase 4, whether phase 3 is conditional automation. But what's your take on it? Do you think we're in phase 3? But also, when are we going to reach phase 5 when it's like fully autonomous?
Yeah.
What was that? We didn't.
Is it even possible to reach stage 5 right now?
Yeah.
Always that question. I heard it several times.
You're on camera as well.
However, I think we are in sort of stage 2.5 to 3.
Okay.
I would call it. Because
what's stage 2.5?
we have assisted driving,
Okay.
but you can't leave your hands completely off the wheel. And you have assisted driving, you have different other functionalities, but you can't sleep in, or you can't read a book or do anything like that, as most of the people are saying. You have to be in the car still, yeah, and you have to take over control, the possibility. But again, and to come to the main question is, we don't see a fully autonomous driving level 5. That's my personal opinion in this decade. Definitely not. Maybe, I think, you do not know how fast we go in the AI area and what else happening is there, or if AGI is coming or not. However, I think at least 35 or something like that, we will see huge progress here. Maybe, however, it's not only the technology in the car, it's the technology of the infrastructure and the streets and the regulation. And for that to change, I talk about Europe, which is always a little bit slower, However, it's really much more safety relevant, and the requirements for that is much higher. And I really like that. I do not want to go on the Autobahn in Germany, where you don't have speed limits, and drive without hands on the wheel, or just even not having one sitting behind a wheel, which is still there or not. Yeah. So this needs, at least in Europe, at least 10 to 15 years to come in there. And however, maybe in the US we will see that quite soon, and having huge amounts of dead people on the roads, definitely. That's what I can see already, and we already have it with the Tesla cars. Yeah. But don't cite me on that, please. But it's really happening. It's already happening. However, it's not only technology. Again, I do not really foresee what is happening with AGI and or with the agents, what are capable of doing if we really make the challenge to control them. However, on the other side, the infrastructure, the regulation thing, and all the other infrastructure requirements around won't allow you to have this fully autonomous driving in the near future.
Okay, that's interesting. I was hoping for like 5 years.
Yeah,
That's my guess.
Absolutely not.
Uneducated guess, I guess. Alex, I want you to tell me a bit more about your take on how corporations are now using AI, especially like Deloitte. They produced this report for the Australian government, and then a few research in Australia essentially called them out on using AI. but they didn't really disclose it when they submitted the report to the Australian government, so they had to like pay money back. How do you feel this will evolve? Because even now, some companies are disincentivizing you to use AI. They're telling you not to do it. Do you think that eventually everyone will be using AI? We just need to disclose it. What's your take on that?
Well, I think that this is exactly what will happen. When the AI is a super powerful tool that helps you do more work faster and sometimes better. And I think there's no way around it. I don't think, by the way, that AI is really taking jobs from people. It's just making people much more efficient. So I think once we have a good solution for privacy, because the reason corporations don't let people use AI is because they don't want the data to leak to other big corporations, right? But if they have their own AI installations, or they have AI that they believe is confidential, then not using it is like saying don't use electricity, or like don't use modern machines to build whatever you're building. So it's a super powerful tool that may be dangerous a little bit or very dangerous if you share too much data with it. It may get ridiculous results if you're using it mindlessly, if those guys just told you, oh, please create this report for Australian government for me, enter, and then send. That is an idiotic thing to do. But using it to help you collect the necessary data, help you organize your document. And
on the collecting the data, do you think AI hallucinates so much? That's what they did, by the way, for the
I think it very much depends on the model. If you use it on a daily basis, you see the progress. You know, I'm using it a lot in like technical questions, and I see the quality is getting better and better, and sometimes it finds information that's not even available in official documentation of a company, and it's really helpful. But of course, you cannot be a mindless user that just says, okay, do it for me, and I think you need to use an AI as a very smart and talented employee that you have that's super fast and super smart, but you still need to control what it's doing and check it, and of course think about privacy and where your data is going and what exactly you are sharing and what might come out of that.
Yeah, okay. We have around 3 minutes, so 1 minute each for practical advice. Tony, I'll start with you. Can you give practical advice to the retail users, people in the room that can just leave, go back home, implement it? How can they use AI to enhance their life?
I will actually quote my really good friend. We had similar discussion a few days ago, and he said, like, when you are using AI, you need to be aware that you are intelligent part, not other side. So basically, everything that you are doing, you are responsible for that, and you need to use the tool. So the outcome or whatsoever happens there, it's your responsibility and you need to control it. Because the AI or artificial intelligence that we are using the name today, that's not intelligence. That's very far away from the intelligence. But on the other side, we are very intelligent creatures, and we should use that tool in that way. So that's my opinion.
Thanks. And Peter, I want you to give a practical advice to the developers, because there are quite a few developers here. So how can they utilize AI?
We are here at the blockchain conference. Use decentralized AI. That's all I can say. And that's exactly why we are on the Fetch AI Foundation, working together with large corporations at the moment, really, to understand what are trusted agents, for example. Because they are rooted in the blockchain, they have their wallets, they have smart contracts using in the background, and then you can trust them. Then you exactly know what they can do and what they can't do. And exactly if you go that way, and especially for the developers here, use these tech stacks that we found out, that you find there, the decentralized tech stacks for generating agents, and using really then them for accessing LLMs. You always, then you don't have the confidentiality things, you don't have the privacy concerns, because you always can prove who is doing what and how can you do that. And of course, you have the monetization aspect to it as well. If you talk about the tokenization approaches behind that, you have the monetization thing as well delivered and solved. And not only the payment of the decentral controllers behind that, yeah, which today are the typical agent developers. And this is not what we would like to strive for. Yeah, so really go into the decentralized AI space.
Alex, same question for you, but can you please tailor it to people in the Cosmos ecosystem? Because I know you've been building within that ecosystem and you know it a lot better than anyone else on the panel.
Yeah, so in terms of general AI usage, I will be very predictable because I was talking about privacy. So keep privacy in mind when you are using AI, and if possible, use confidential AI like secret AI, for example, AI that is offered by Secret Network. Now, as part of the Cosmos ecosystem, the secret AI actually will accept payments in secret coin, as well as other means, but people who pay in secret and stake secret will get significant discounts. So that's kind of, we are bringing this monetary benefit to people inside the ecosystem using it, and also our AI systems are tied to the Secret Network smart contracts for secret management and some other technical stuff. So I think this capability actually adds to the Cosmos ecosystem as well and brings Secret Network and Cosmos by connection to being in this confidential verifiable AI space.
Thank you so much. Gentlemen, you've been fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. The public has been also fantastic. Thank you so much for coming here today, guys. After you.
Thank you so much.